Lawyer Kwame Adofo or Homaso na and come about this particular issue that happened in Parliament. There Yawada. Lawyer Machana pay. Lawyer Ultimate Machana pay.
Yeah. What doing that?
Namia I Meton Capa, Namia Dom, Medi also hoye.
The way about.
Yeah, Namia lawyer, Dano Yawada. Appointment committee, vetting. According to minority leader, they protested. Speaker, at the protest, associate at the Abamonte. So he has suspended 4 parliamentarians, 1 from the majority side, who is the majority chief whip, 3 from the minority side, 1 being the minority chief whip, and 2 other MPs. And they, lawyer Martin Pebu say, or more case in court. Honorable Chairman Sabonsu, the former majority leader, will say it's an illegality. As a constitutional lawyer, how do you see it?
Hello.
Lawyer Meton Kapa.
Many of our men shall be on a for no helpful. Yes. Constitution under Article 97. A quiet before will be you be a free Parliament. Now, 97, no.
WOHO 95.1.
The best spell will be an be free Parliament. This parliamentary committee are making findings of guilt, and as I'm finding guilty, and as with default. What the Parliament, any mandatory form, what the contempt, what the Parliament with contempt. I don't know. Committee no was said to me some best spell. Into Article 97 1D say a member of Parliament shall vacate his seat in Parliament if he is expelled from Parliament after having been found guilty of contempt of Parliament by a committee of Parliament. Into Obian of which my spell a member of Parliament until a committee. Parliamentary committee at
WOHO 95.1.
Niakas would default for good parliament in Nasi. Answer me to me, I spell any panel, a free parliament. And the course you did a speaker now, no, did it to me, will be any maybe aside to me free. So, no, suspend you more. We do before complaining. Or suspend you a movie, I don't know, so we know who's what here. A fair no consultative committee so many investigation. Now, when you spell it means that you have concluded some might be wrong. Now, or might be wrong there. Why are you setting a committee now? And now, the other way is it now why I spell it? If the committee comes and says, Sankrofon I spell it, or might be wrong. How then do you compensate not the individual
WOHO 95.1
constituencies? How then do you compensate them for the 2 weeks that you have expelled them? Illegal. The situation is that constitution doesn't give Speaker any authority to expel any member of Parliament.
Well, they have a standing order, and Henry, read the standing order. What it says for me. Now, lawyer Infantos.
The standing orders, no. Read 5 now. The 5 is talking about the interpretation of the standing order, where also Speaker has the right to or interpret the standing orders as he pleases. I'm quickly going through the standing order quickly. If lawyer permits me, I read standing order 5 of I think standing order 5. 5 no say.
WOHO 95.1.
In case of doubt, these orders shall be interpreted by Mr. Speaker as he deem fit. Into echo or the same standing orders or 20.
So 5 says in case of doubt.
Yes.
Now Speaker nebet me take action be say.
Yes.
Let's go to
and
the
then
20.
when you read
20.
the standing orders or 28 going now, it talks about issues with contempt of our Parliament. Now 2018 say an act of omission which obstructs or impedes Parliament in the performance of its function, or which obstructs or impedes a member or officer of Parliament in the discharge of his duties, or affront the dignity of Parliament, or which tends either directly or indirectly to produce such a result, shall be contempt of Parliament. So the issue has to do with, as they are sitting in Parliament and someone has done something who might be a member of Parliament or why year, an action which is deemed as contempt of Parliament in Parliament, has the Speaker the right to use the powers as given by the
standing
orders,
to cite them for contempt.
Cite them for contempt
and
of
as such
Parliament.
punish them by asking them to be suspended for 2 weeks. And this is what we read from their standing order. Lawyer, I want to say.
But let's say, granted, said your kind is correct. In my view, standing orders is even inferior to the Constitution anyway.
Of course.
But Yemfan said what you read is correct. You still have to set up a committee and let the committee make a finding. What this people or that person has done is contempt of Parliament. There's no way that either in the standing orders or in the Constitution, I am a Speaker, the sole to me. So, Bitmark said this amounts to contempt. That's where the problem is. Constitution is a committee of Parliament, and then someone makes a determination.
So the Constitution supersedes their bylaws and our standing orders. Right, let me ask this. Now, if somebody is cited for contempt, does the person receive the punishment there and then? If a judge is seated and somebody picks a phone call and talks court to them, which is not done, can the judge instantly cite contempt and then the punishment will be about that same period?
95.1.
This question is a very interesting question. At the moment, there's a divided opinion.
Yes.
Some people say once you cite the person for contempt, we judge not citing any contempt. So a different person,
contempt case,
the contempt case. Some are saying once a judge is entitled to hear contempt, every judge is a judge, and therefore that same judge should be able to hear. There was a directive from the previous Chief Justice. The cases are pending, your site will be contempt. Should go back to the same judge. Some say it's a good idea. Some, like me, say it's a bad idea.
Onua FM 95.1.
Judge, here was I to contempt. No, you may not have any chance of succeeding. So at the moment, it's divided. It's not settled as to the same judge or not. Now, when it comes to Parliament,
yes,
Parliament is an interesting situation. In a sense, when Kwame Adofo, member of Parliament, and he who cited me contempt, you cannot hold me to Parliament. You don't have the power. The opportunity I say, refer me conduct to Attorney General. Now, Attorney General, the Miyako Court, has cited me for contempt of Parliament. Then the court will decide my fate. I don't know if you are following what I'm saying.
I want to understand you well. For instance, Oliver Baka Vomewo insinuated that appointment committee did bribe. There's something called a privileges committee that Parliament what you're saying doesn't mean they don't have a right to call you to any privileges committee.
Who can say they don't have a right? It's different story. They have the right to call you, but you also have the right to refuse to attend. So here. And if you refuse to attend that, they will have to refer your conduct to Attorney General. Then Attorney General will charge you before a court, where the court will hear you and either convict you or free you. Because Parliament in the court. That's the difference.
But Parliament, some committees sit chairman and now as High Court. Auditor General had a report to a call committee. What's the name?
Yes.
public
Onua
hearing.
And the state of High Court too.
95.1.
Nemo no, buza say. Omo call you na no. Cause the parliamentarian to me apanishi will be there. They at best will refer you to be prosecuted.
Right.
And no more. So what does it?
Yes.
We need to me be apart from some very falsely and prosecute you.
They want to be as a sanction, although
No,
they
no,
sit
no.
like a high court.
Exactly. Sitting like a high court doesn't make you a high court. So what does it?
So if the speaker sits in parliament, sits as a high court judge, on to be fat disciplinary action beyond.
Debbie. Speaker doesn't have any to me be constitution money to me be. And you are why you watch. Just like so overturning 4 seats, you know, under Article 99. You are not a high court.
95.1.
And you don't have the power to declare anybody's seat vacant. And I think arbitrariness will happen. And the speaker be about the whole country will be chaotic. It will need to me be. I mean, it is in his interest to immediately withdraw punishment of the moment.
But the committee now what's in there? If someone the punishment be bad and no the issue. Because the constitution.
Because constitution say having been found guilty of contempt of parliament by a committee of parliament, you can be expelled. But speaker is not a committee. It won't be expelled. It will be a.
Kwame Adofo, I mean, now I say on a person when you're brand now near to Chinkomo. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Thank you.
Onua 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM. Yeah, Junimo.